Maybe we should love somebody. Oh, maybe we should care a little more.
Hi, welcome to Guitar Discoveries. Today we're going to do a first impressions video of my new audio interface, a Universal Audio Apollo Twin Duo. Now, there are lots of reviews about this product out there online. I want to talk about some things that I haven't seen anybody else talk about when it comes to Universal Audio products. And the first and foremost is that when you step into a Universal Audio product, you are walking into a universe, and it's a universe they control. It's a little bit like Apple. In fact, that's what it reminds me the most of. It's like Apple, but in the audio arena. You purchase this piece of hardware, and in my case, it came with some plugins, and some pretty good plugins. But when I downloaded those plugins onto my system and into my DAW and everything else, guess what? It downloads every single plugin that Universal Audio offers. And there's no way to get rid of those if you want to use just the very few that they give you with the box. Now, I don't know about you, but that ticks me off. That was a bad first impression. They're marketing to me, and they're doing it pretty aggressively. Now, they justify it by saying, yeah, but all those plugins are there because we give you the chance to demo them for free. Okay, yeah, I can demo them for free for 2 weeks. But if I actually use them on a project, what's going to happen? Guess what? I'm screwed, right? If I don't buy that product, that plugin, then I can't use it if I want to recall my mix and things like that. So it's very, very frustrating to me, especially too because under the guise of a big sale, they'll say, oh, you got to commit to $399 to get 3 plugins of your choice. Well, I don't know about you. I've never paid that much money, at least up to this point, for plugins. I've used a lot of different plugins, but no Universal Audio plugins. So, first impression, actually pissed that I am thrust into their universe, no pun intended, and I just sort of have to deal with it. And I got to deal with this very high price point on everything, even at so-called sale prices. I mean, to say I can get 3 plugins and they're like $1,000 value for a mere $400, that's intense, man. From my experience, I feel like, wow. Now, I get it. They're premium. They're the best, right? So they're doing that. We're the best. Nobody else touches us. If you're pro and you want to be pro, you're going to pay our prices. Yeah, well, make sure you don't ever pay full price with them, for sure. So, recovering from the price point and getting to a point where I kind of start asking myself, is this box as great as they say? Now, it requires you to change the way you think about your workflow. If you're used to taking a audio interface, going straight into it and straight into your DAW, and then doing all of your audio contouring in the audio workstation, you're going to have to get used to something new. With the Universal Audio Apollo Twin or any of the Apollo products, what happens is you now have to run an application called Console side by side with your DAW. Now, what this is doing, the console is giving you access to some really good, I will say, very high quality channel strip plugins that plug into a socket that they call Unison. Now, the reason it plugs into this socket is that it actually allows the preamp to change characteristics, change impedance, change electronic and coloration aspects that really do make a difference to the sound that's going either to your monitoring headphones and or your digital audio workstation. Now, there's a button for every channel or for all of your channels that are coming in through your audio interface where you get to decide, am I just going to monitor through these plugins, or am I going to actually record and commit them to the tracks that I'm recording in my DAW? I am a fan of commitment. I grew up on commitment. That's how we always did certain things in the analog world. You ran through a channel strip, you ran through any other, maybe some compression, things like that, as you recorded to a track of tape. So you were committing. Sometimes you'd even commit to effects. If you really loved certain effects, you just commit to it. Certainly on guitars, we did it all the time. So I'm not afraid of commitment. I'm good with that. And so I've been trying to, in this first time I've used this product and recorded anything of substance, I've gotten to a point now where I'm saying, all right, what do I want to actually commit to? What do I trust coming out of the unit, what I'm hearing in the phones and in the monitor speakers? And what don't I trust? Where do I want to go without color, just straight into the DAW with no coloration, theoretically? So it requires you to have two apps running. That's a change for many people. It certainly was for me, and not necessarily a change that I really am happy about. I would much prefer less complexity rather than more. It requires me to think. I kind of have to go back to my old studio days and really be thinking of, okay, what am I monitoring through the console and what's Logic doing? So basically I'm recording through the console over to Logic, and I'm not hearing anything from Logic from that track that I'm recording, right? It's just capturing it over there. Then when I record the next track, I'm listening back to tracks from Logic monitored through the console while I record new things through the console over to Logic. So it does require you to get into that mode of thinking that this is like an external console, kind of like the old days for me. Okay, so to take the Universal Audio Apollo Twin for its first test run, I decided to record tracks for the song Holy War by Alicia Keys, and I just layered them in kind of a random order. I did start with a drummer track from Logic, set the tempo, just give me something to kind of play along with, kind of a glorified click track. And then the first thing I did was record an electric guitar. Now I have a Heritage H575. It's basically like a Gibson ES175. I brought that in through the Apollo Twin, a UA 610 tube preamp in the Unison slot of that particular channel to warm it up and thicken it up a little bit. And I really liked the result of that. Now I printed that, I committed to that, printed it into my DAW. So all you have to do is hit the record, UAD record, and that records and prints the effect over to the DAW. So the next part I recorded was just kind of noodling around lead guitar, left it going through the same exact channel, same setting. So I didn't change anything, I just left on that UA 610 preamp. So again, I'm just testing this, right? This is like one pass stuff. You do a pass and you live with it and you just go on to the next thing, because I'm just trying to test out how this thing works. Next thing, I thought I'll record my Gibson J50 acoustic guitar, mono, nothing fancy. Interestingly enough, when I tried to do that through the UA 610 preamp, no matter what settings I used, I just thought it was too flabby and fat, too dark. So I literally took the UA 610 preamp out of that signal chain and recorded straight through the UA Apollo into my DAW. Same thing when it came time to add a Nashville-tuned guitar later in the song. It tends to be high and sparkly, and I did not want that to be colored and made darker by the UA Tube emulator. So my attitude was, let's just go straight through. And I must say, I think the UA Apollo Twin with nothing in the Unison preamp slot, just straight in, does have a really clean, nice sound. Last thing I wanted to do was add bass. I have a P bass. I wanted it to sound as full and thick and rich as I could. And here's where I think the UA 610 really shines. I could have added some compression and things like that in the box. I didn't. I just committed to using that as the preamp. And I was very impressed with the fatness of that whole thing. It really, really did nicely. And when I then played it back from Logic and added some of the effects that I like there, I was super happy. It's just a really nice, big, thick bass sound. I wanted this to be kind of a real world test, kind of what I figure you might be doing in your own studio. So instead of putting up a really high-end mic, a 414 or a C12 or something like that, I used a Blue Yeti Pro. Now this is a mic that is inexpensive, but it is really nice quality in my experience. I've compared it to mics many times its cost, and I've been surprised. Now, one of the things I like to do is not record the Blue through the digital USB cord. I record it through the analog system, and it requires phantom power, which the Apollo Twin can give it. So here's what that sounds like. I have a little bit of the performance here.
War is holy, sex obscene. We got it twisted in this lucid dream, baptized in boundaries, schooled in sin, divided by difference, sexuality and skin. So we can hate each other, fear each other, we can build these walls between each other, baby, blow by blow, brick by brick, keep yourself locked in, yourself locked. Whoa, maybe we should love somebody. Whoa, maybe we could care a little more. So maybe we should love somebody instead of polishing the bombs of holy war. What if sex was holy and war was obscene, and it wasn't twisted? What a wonderful dream, living for love, unafraid of the end. Forgiveness is the only real revenge. So we can heal each other, feel each other, we can break these walls between each other, baby, blow by blow, brick by brick, keep yourself open, oh, maybe we should love somebody. Oh, maybe we should care a little more. So maybe we should love somebody instead of polishing the bombs of holy war. What if love was holy and hate obscene? We should give life to this beautiful dream, 'cause peace and love are not so far if we nurse our wounds before they scar. Nurse our wounds before they scar.
So my general impressions are good. I'd like to know what you think. What do you think of this recording? I haven't done any major fixing and trying to improve it a whole lot. So if you like the sound of it, you're pretty much hearing what the Apollo does on its own without a lot of dressing things up. So that's your guitar discovery for the day. My first impressions of my Universal Audio Apollo Twin. Mine is an Apollo Twin Duo, by the way. Seems to have enough processing for my purposes for the recording process with 2 channels. So I'm cautiously optimistic, but I'm having to get used to a lot of things and not happy with the way they structure this whole thing with their plugins and downloading them all to your system and all that. I just think that is kind of bogue. not the way I like people to do business. So that's my first impression. I'm sure I'll be sharing more over time, but I do appreciate you joining me today. Please subscribe to the channel. There's going to be a lot of guitars, effects, cool tips and tricks, things that I love to share, and I really would love to have you back. Please do subscribe. Watch some of my other videos. It means a lot to me that I can be able to help you be a better musician on stage and studio. Thanks, and see you soon.